You're still watching Signature Morning. I'm Vin Martin Obiora Ilo, and my guest this morning on the show is Honorable Dennis Agbo, the member representing Igbo North, Udenu Federal Constituency in Enugu State. Well, today we're talking about what one analyst described as Journey from Hell. So maybe we should entitle this program Journey from Hell. My pleasure to welcome Dennis Agbo to our studio. Honorable Dennis Agbo, you're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You won an election. Someone went to the tribunal, all the way to the appeal courts. They said you should go back and do some part of that election. At that election, you lost. You went to the tribunal, ended up at the appeal court. And on the, what date now? On the 15th of October, you were re-inaugurated as the authentic member representing the people of Igbo North within the Federal Constituency. How do you feel?
Thank you once again, and thank you, viewers. May I correct something? I didn't, by my inauguration on 15th of this month, on Tuesday, it means I did not lose. It means I actually won. But a wrongful and unlawful declaration was made. That is the way we put it. And how do I feel? I feel quite grateful to a lot of people. Primarily, I feel grateful to God for making this possible. I thank my constituents who have continuously stood by me, giving me a popular mandate all the time. I thank the judges who presided over this matter. People used to say this is Nigeria, but we saw a new Nigeria in this process. Judges at all levels. And by the way, may I remind us here, it was not just tribunal appeal. There were 7 cases before that. And so on the whole, we have 11 cases presided over by Nigerian judges and justices. Sometimes judges of the High Court, justices of the Appeal Court, justices of the Supreme Court. 2 times to the Supreme Court, 4 times to the Appeal Court, 2 times to Tribunal, 3 times to the High Court. And they were all Nigerian judges. And how God did it, I don't know. But if this represents the Nigerian judiciary, we should then be talking about a sterling quality judiciary that we have in Nigeria. Incorruptible judges. People who could not be penetrated by all the powers that be. So I am very grateful to them. I thank my team of lawyers, 2 senior advocates and other juniors. I thank the people from my constituency who came to testify and made the decision of the judges much easier.
Okay. When somebody follows your story from 2023, when you indicated interest to run for this position, it has been a journey full of roadblocks, a journey full of speed breakers. Tell us the story from beginning, because I know that in researching for this interview, I discovered that you had gone to court and ended in the appeal court about 2 or 3 times before even the election.
And the Supreme Court.
So, and the Supreme Court. So tell us about it.
The story is like this. I don't know, but my people have started to trust me. Initially, what I used to hear is that I'm stingy. I don't distribute money. I don't share money to people. But I know that sharing money will not get my constituency, our state, and country anywhere. Transformational projects will get us into the trajectory of development. So I chose to implement transformational projects that will benefit the generality of our people. When you share money, only those who have access to you will benefit from that largesse. But so I chose to do projects, and by the special grace of God, in my first tenure between 2015 and 2019, there were a lot of projects that we were able to do. Now, our people have weighed it, and they have decided that indeed implementing projects are better, and that the man who implements projects is more sincere to them, loves them more, cares more about their real benefit. And so the narrative is changing. And so I have some amount of very organic and very strong support base and popularity among my people. In my place, many people do not know my name. They simply know Mr. Integrity. Initially, it was, you play the politics like Igbo people. This is not how we do it here. But it is catching on. People now trust me. People now believe in me. They know that I mean well, that I'm sincere. So, it is catching on, and people are convinced that this is the right way to go. So, I have this organic support base. Very, very organic. And anytime you throw the ballot in a fair election, people expect me to win. So, at the onset, those who are my opponents, the first thing they tried to do was to stop me being in the ballot. Because wherever I stand in the ballot, whichever side I stand in the ballot, people will swing to that side. So the best thing is to get this man out of the, let him not be on the ballot. So that was why cases were sponsored from within my party, from outside my party. 7 cases. 3 at the High Court, 2 went to Appeal Court, and 2 of them went to Supreme Court. We won all the 7 cases back to back because I was duly nominated by my party. Then in the process, we set one judicial precedent. That is, that INEC is bound to publish the name of a candidate that has been duly nominated by his political party. That judicial precedent had not been set before. It was one of the cases that established the judicial precedent, that INEC has no right to deny somebody participation in an election when a registered political party has duly nominated this candidate. That was just to enter the ballot. 7 cases. Pre-election cases. By the time we were done with the election and I had won by a wide margin, I was still at the appeal court on one of the legs of the case. And after the election, we finished at the appeal court. I won. They still went to the Supreme Court. I won again. It was then that they tried to come back to sue me at the tribunal, and then they told them that the time was up, that the time for suing, for bringing a petition had passed. So that's exactly the narrative
that took place pre-election.
Pre-election, yes.
Then you won.
Yes.
And they went to court. And at the end of the day, the tribunal said you should go back. What were the issues at that time?
When I won the election and the tribunals were established, the people who were chasing me to appeal court and Supreme Court were still chasing me to, even after the election. So by the time they finished from the Supreme Court, and that's the candidate that came second, far a distant second, So when he came back to sue me at the tribunal, the time had passed. It was now a candidate that scored a mere 930 votes, not even up to 1,000 votes. I won the election with 28,750 votes. This person did not score up to 1,000 votes. That's the person that sued me at the tribunal. And so all they wanted was to have the election cancelled, nullified, and so every other person, every other enemy or opponent in the coalesced in this particular case by a person who got just 930. Of course, at the tribunal, it was a very unserious petition. Very, very unserious, because we have 532 polling units and the petitioner called 3 witnesses. For you who won 930 votes to challenge an election in 532 polling units, while the winner scored 28,750, you needed to call more witnesses. She called 3. And guess what? After calling 2, when they called the first one, he testified. The second one, they looked for him in the court. He had disappeared. So at the end of the day, she called 3 witnesses, but only 2 testified, including herself. 1 witness and herself. Now, what did they say? They called a witness, the first one. So what went wrong? Did you vote? Yes. Was there any problem in your polling unit? No. Were the votes counted? Yes. Were they recorded? Yes. So what are you testifying about? He said they heard that there are places where their votes were not recorded. Hearsay. The petitioner herself testified. Did you vote? Yes. Were votes counted? Yes. Recorded? Yes. Declared? Yes. Did anything go wrong in your polling unit? No. What happened? Why are you here? We heard some of my agents in some of the polling units, they told me that in many of our polling units, our results were not recorded. We all know that in normal electoral jurisprudence, this falls grossly short of the requirement of proof. Next to that is, if you want to say that in many 165 polling units, your votes were not recorded, you needed to at least show by demonstrating in one particular polling unit, bring out the ballot papers of that particular, even if it is one polling unit, to show that the total valid votes was 100. Then this person scored 95, the other person scored 3. The other 2 belonged to me, but it was not recorded. Nothing like that was done. You needed to demonstrate that, look at this ballot paper. It was my party they voted for, but it was not recorded. That was not done. The true story really is that in these 165 polling units, and I'm saying this before God, in these 165 polling units out of 532 polling units, there were polling units where the petitioner did not score 1 single vote. But she was a candidate in the election, to be fair. She was nominated
and her votes needed to be
recorded. So yeah. her party nominated her duly. And she participated in the election. Even if she scored 0 votes, you needed to put her party APC 0. So that was what INEC failed to do, not Dennis Agbo failed to do.
But at the end of the day, the appeal court upheld that.
Say they saw merit
in what she was saying.
Really, in the appeal court, what they said is that, okay, talking about inadequacy of witnesses and all of that, appeal court ruled that having brought certified true copies of election results where the name of her party was not stated, that she needed not call witnesses. That's a section of the act, I think section 153, that states that when you have demonstrated by certified true copy of documents from INEC. You need not call.
So that's the evidence.
Witnesses. So the evidence spoke to the facts. So that was in the wisdom of the appeal court, and then they now ruled that, yeah, this election in 165 polling units should be repeated. Election in 165 polling units should be repeated out of 532 polling units. Now, therefore, all the votes I garnered in the 165 polling units were now stalemated. They were now
we're null.
They are now at stake. Yes. So, and that amounted for me 6,000 votes. And then for the other people, the second person, the second candidate as PDP, they had about 4,000 votes at stake. So our intact votes, they scored 14,000 and had 4,000 at stake. I scored 28,750 and had 6,000 at stake. So my intact vote became 22,750 or thereabout. Theirs became 10,000 or thereabout. So going into the election for 165 polling units.
That's the rerun.
The rerun election.
That was ordered by the appeal court.
Yes, I was leading by 12,500 votes. I was in a lead with 12,500 votes. And you think that because it was an off-season election, voter turnout to be low, and there's no way. My popularity had not changed. My people have not started loving me less. It was supposed to be a mere walkover.
The INEC said you lost the election.
I didn't lose the election. I didn't lose the election.
Well, that's what they said.
Now,
at that point.
Yeah, at that point, they made an unlawful declaration, which we have established that it was an unlawful declaration.
Okay. Honorable Agbo, tough journey. So much stress for you and all that. But today, you have been sworn in for the second time.
Yes.
What does this mean for you? And of course, you know that you left in November. You left the house in November of 2023. And you're coming back in October. You have lost
1 year.
1 year, I mean. So how do you play catch up? How do you make up for the 1 year that you didn't represent your people?
I was sworn into the House of Representatives for a second tenure. That was in June 2023. And between that June to November 3rd, when I left by the ruling of the appeal court, I had done a 4-classroom block, started and finished at Umobeg. I had done an examination hall, started and finished at Oda. I had done and finished a rural education project, completed a rural education initiated by the community but completed by me. I gave them a transformer, Umagwedege community. The same thing at Umadonowo community. I had completed and I started and completed an solar street light project from Uboleke Market to St. Patrick's College and completely lit up the entire St. Patrick's College. In
5 months.
In 5 months. I have taken time during all these distractions to think again. And I have my ideas about how to catch up. I have it clearly worked out because my people deserve nothing but the best. I must double my efforts. I must make sure I am trying. The journey just started again. I'm trying to make sure that at the rate I deliver those 5 projects in barely 5 months, that I will replicate the same thing, even covering the periods that I had lost. And you see, where there is the will, there is always the way. There is always a way. If there is anything from my own part within my control that will make me not to be able to achieve this, I am going to make sure that I drop those things aside. If there are things within me, within my control, that will make me play this catch up, I am going to do it no matter how difficult. I'm going to beg everybody. I'm going to seek support, assistance from the leadership of the House of Representatives, from my colleagues from Enugu State, from my colleagues from other states in Nigeria. I am going to do everything that I have to do to make sure that my people lose nothing because of this disruption. So I have hit the ground running. I'm making all the engagements. I'm meeting people, begging them to see, look, that I have lost time. I have lost time. My people have lost opportunities. And I believe and I trust that God is on my side, and He will help me to play this catch up. People will show me favor. My colleagues will show me favor. The leadership will show me favor. They'll show understanding, and then we'll be able to move ahead and catch up with the lost time. Our people will see a development program as they have never seen before. Of course, I have my own agenda. That are the key agenda. There are the other ones that will just come as you move on.
So tell me about it. You have your agenda. Yeah. What do you want to achieve in the next 2.5, 3 years? Which areas are you going to focus on?
I have it very clear in my mind. Now, in Nigeria, right now, existential challenge is facing everybody. Food insecurity is facing the country. One of my major projects, and by the way, I was designing this project even before things got this bad in Nigeria. My major intervention in the area of economic empowerment and sustainable livelihood is what I call the establishment of a poultry cluster within my constituency. It has a high capacity for absorption of unemployed people, high job creation, economic empowerment. What do I mean by this? We want to raise poultry farmers, a band of smallholder poultry farmers, who in every month, should be able to generate income that will give them 100,000, 150,000, 200,000, 400,000, 500,000 naira income every month as they grow in that value chain. Earning money with dignity. We will assist them. We will train them on poultry farming. We will give them the necessary support. We also have decided that because there is no poultry cluster within the Southeast, there are certain items that we need to establish to support this poultry cluster. Namely, one is a hatchery. We are bringing in a hatchery in collaboration with NAPRI. We also want to develop a feed mill within the cluster so that cluster members do not have to go far. Transportation is an important item now. So within the cluster, you walk to the place where you can buy your feed. You go and feed your animals. You go and buy your day-old chicks. You go and raise the birds. Now, the nearest hatchery we have to the Southeast is Ogun and Oyo clusters, where you can go and buy the old chicks. Many times when they buy, before they get home, many of them have died. So that you have mortality. Now you have a cluster that will serve the entire Southeast, serve Benue, serve Taraba, serve a little bit of all of the middle belt, most of the middle belt, and us in the Southeast also. So if we do that, imagine the number of people who are going to be gainfully employed raising birds. And when they do, we move in eggs and we move in poultry meat into the market to bring down the price and serve our immediate community, and then address the food insecurity in Nigeria. That is my major program, and God helping me within this period you mentioned, this will be accomplished. Now, number two, I also have this plan that somebody within my constituency does not need to walk more than 1 kilometer to get potable water. In other words, if that potable water can come from a very hygienic stream, fine. But if not, we'll locate a borehole that within the 1 kilometer radius, people should be able to come and be served within this borehole. Outside that, we put another borehole. And that is how we are going to locate boreholes all around the constituency, so that people will not have to trek a long distance.
But that means
to have access to potable water.
In a community, you'll be looking at probably 10 boreholes, and you have so many communities.
It is not up to 10 boreholes within a community. A community may just need 3 boreholes or 2. For instance,
cover that radius.
Yes. For instance, my immediate community is a community. There is a borehole already operated by the Catholic Church. Is there. Then I have a borehole in my compound, which I bring out to serve people who are around me. It serves me in my compound, and then it serves the immediate community. And within my community, nobody says you have problem with water. So if we can deliver 2 boreholes within every community, we are fine. We would have accomplished this objective of giving potable water, and good enough, there is water within our aquifer, within our water bed. We drill and we bring out water. We drill. And again, if you take this idea a little bit forward, you begin to have what you can call reticulation. Okay, because that's a mini water scheme. Because you don't need to really dot the whole place with boreholes. If you have a slopey environment whereby you can just dig one borehole here, put a fairly big tank, then you can reticulate down the entire community. At this point, you bring out a pump to serve them. You go down a little bit, you bring out a pump to serve them from only one borehole with a large tank. So we call it a mini water scheme, and it will go like that. We will play with the topography. It's only where you cannot play with the topography that you need to create more boreholes. When the ideas are there, when you have the will, the ideas will come, help and assistance will come. There are development agencies that are addressing the issue of water availability by development partners, international NGOs, and so on and so forth. We will reach them to help. Then we will also access the budget.
One of the things that the struggle that you passed through trying to recover your mandate was that it brought a lot of division within the politics of your federal constituency. Now that you're back, are you going to be a representative of your supporters, or are you going to be a representative of all the people of your federal constituency? How do you bring everybody together? Because there's been a lot of bad blood.
Let me correct that impression also. Again, there is no bad blood in my place right now. That is the honest truth, and you can verify it. There is massive celebration across party lines. Believe me what I'm telling you. If you go to my constituency, celebration is going on because my mandate has been restored. These were just a small band of desperate politicians wanting to do their thing. Very negligible, insignificant number of my constituency.
Are you going to exclude them?
I am going to include them in my program. Let me tell you, as we speak, they must have been sleeping and waking up. They must have been thinking about what happened. They must have been telling themselves the truth about what they didn't need to do, which they did. My programs will cover everybody. Everybody. I will also work with the local government, with my House of Assembly members, with the state government, to put all hands on deck. We desperately need development, and there is no time. So everybody, politics is over.
So are you reaching out to this minute, small group that you described here? Are you already reaching out to them to bring them, into the fold?
How do you reach out? I'm not talking about asking. I'm not bringing them to become members of my political party.
I know.
I am only saying that the good will always speak over evil. What I'm saying is this. We won the case last Wednesday, exactly 1 week today. We had to rush back to Abuja to pick the certificate of return and then seek to be inaugurated in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. So we've done that. No, I don't have an enemy. They know it. I am just like that. My people know this truth. There was a lot of insecurity. My local government was described as the hotbed of insecurity, bandits, and so on and so on. Immediately I won my election in June last year. From then till now, everything disappeared. Why? How? It is because I have no problem. I don't have any problem. I don't thrive in a tense environment. I don't create a tense environment, an insecure environment, so that I can ride rough shots over. I don't have any rough shot to ride. I am just there, and my people love me very, very much. Very, very much. And I am only trying to devote this time in my life to serving them. When that happens, everybody's at peace. Everybody's one. I'm telling you, across party lines. Rejoicing is going on. Celebration is going on. People are celebrating. Why jubilation is going on in my place across party lines?
There was something you said or mentioned in the course of answering my question. You talked about working with the state government, working with the local government, working with your assemblymen, and probably the councillors. And this is something that has not been very fashionable around the politics we play in Nigeria. Because some of these people that you have described here are members of the other parties. Can you specifically, in specifics, tell me how you intend to make sure that there is a coming together of ideas and people to help the ordinary member of your federal constituency?
Thank you. See, my style of politics is not the normal that has kept Nigeria where we have been till now. My kind of politics. See, the day I won this court case, all the House of Assembly members called to congratulate me. And each one that called, I told them, look, we have work to do. Some of them are now in the other side of the divide in the political party. Now, the local government chairman of my local government right now is from the other party. We have discussed. We have talked. He has called to congratulate me, and I've told him, look, we have work to do, and I'm going to provide you with every support that you need to perform in your office. Luckily for us, luckily for me, the person who is sitting there, who was nominated by, who was elected by, who is now the local government chairman of my local government, is somebody also who is in a hurry to make a difference. He has a pedigree. He cannot spoil a good name. So we have only one agenda. We have only one objective. I'm going to work with him. See, I used to call local government chairman to my house, call secretary, deputy vice chairman, and secretary, chairman, deputy chairman, and secretary to my house, and we start discussing how they can face, how they can do development. I would explain to them one by one, A, B, C. Sometimes we start discussing by 10 in the night, we finish discussing by 2 a.m. I will have that time to guide these people, to guide them. See what you can do. See what you can. See the responsibilities of local government. See how you can perform those responsibilities. See how money can come. See how you can. For instance, let me just give you an example. There are people in the payroll of a local government answering laborers. If you have, that's a cause and effect. I used to describe for them the cause and effect. If you have laborers will evacuate drainages. There will be no flood. Laborers will plant, what do you call it, grass, flowers, and trim them, and the whole place will look beautiful. Laborers will push the sand away from the road so that we can have wider road. Laborers will do laborers' work. But the truth is, the reality we face is that you have a large number of people collecting salaries from the local government as laborers, but the drainages are still filled. By the time you begin to call these people to come and evacuate drainages, because that is the work of a laborer, they will all disappear. When they disappear, we will now recover their salaries. That is how we have cause and effect. Because if you are a laborer, we are supposed to see the work of a laborer being performed. And these things are just the basic foundational responsibilities that a local government is supposed to perform. If you are ready to do it, we will see the result of what you are doing, and work will be done in the local government. If you are not ready to do it, then we will relieve you to go. Then we will recover your salary, make the conditions of service of the other people to be better, and then maybe hire other people who are willing to do the job. So something must give. Something should give. I have been a consultant on governance reforms. I consult on governance reforms. I was the first person in Nigeria to establish governance reforms consulting as my niche. So I understand how governance can work, and I'll give it free of charge. Guide these local government people, guide the people in the House of Assembly. We discuss, we share ideas, we exchange ideas, and then all in a bid to move our constituency and our local government and our state forward.
The catch-up you talked about will also happen in the National Assembly. You have to play the politics.
Yes.
You have to look for the relationships,
yes,
for your catch-up to work.
Yes.
How do you intend to do that?
It's already working. I have engaged with my colleagues in the National Assembly. I've called them even before my inauguration. I've met with them. And they're all excited to have me back. Yesterday, a colleague generously hosted the entire House of Reps Enugu State Caucus to a reception for me. It's already working. It is already working. We will I'm a ranking member, and there are 3 of us who are ranking members. We will work together. Nothing would ever make us to be divided. Nothing. That's one thing, the rumination I have done during this time, that anything and everything I will stand on my way, no matter, is it pride, is it hard work, is it laziness that will stand on my way, I will work hard. I am used to working hard. Is it pride, is it sentiment, whatever it is, I'll cast it aside. We must work and produce results. The state government is there, struggling to make a difference in our state. There are things we can do to help them, and we will do those things to help the state government. It is all about developing the Enugu state. When we play this kind of politics, I tell you what, it is the best form of politics. It might not be the old style, but it is the best form of politics. When our people understand it, you see that they become enthusiastic. They support you, they give you all the support. Not everybody will be a politician. Not everybody will be a House of Reps member. But because the system is failing and the people who are supposed to be in government are not delivering, everybody now wants, okay, let me come and try. By the time people in government are sacrificing themselves and devoting themselves to working for the people, my people who control the interior decoration business in Nigeria. They will go back to the interior decoration business. We control the Tejo market, we control the Wuse market, we control the Kano market and Port Harcourt market. Everything, wherever anybody is putting a curtain in his house, inside government house, inside the governor's house, the governor's bedroom, is somebody from my town. They go and face those things, make more money, support what we are doing. Not everybody. I have accomplished a glorious banking career before coming into politics. So everybody has the opportunity to actualize himself in whatever you're doing, whatever business that you're doing. Not everybody will be in politics. It is because of the failures of political actors that everybody wants to come and try.
What is the future? Are you thinking about returning in 2027?
Talking about 2027, it's all, the decision is with my people. It's with my people.
It's not something that worries you now?
I have nothing to say about it. It is when they say, look, you can't come back. It's an order. For me, in my personal life, I've accomplished myself. Now is the time to give back to my people. Now, if they say, look, oh boy, you cannot come back now. You are going to remain there. Anything they decide. Look, I've done well and God has been so good to me in this life. I left banking 23 years ago. 23 years ago, I left banking. And I left banking industry as a general manager. What else do I want? How old was I in 23 years ago? So, if they say, you can't come back, you have to remain there. We'll stay there and serve them.
It's all about them. If they say come back.
If they say they come back, we'll come. Before I come. If they say you come back, you come back. Right? If you refuse to come, then their votes will speak. And now we want the votes to count. We want to count the votes and we want the votes to count. So now that's what we have demonstrated in this court process now. So if the people say you should come back, if you say you won't come back, they'll bring you back with their votes. Simple.
So with what has happened, are you a believer that our democracy can work if we all do what we need to do?
I believe. And
did it fail you at any point in this process?
Of course. There are challenges. Those are the hurdles we talk about. Result sheets were delivered to an individual to go just go and write results. There are corrupt people in the system. But still, the same INEC that has those corrupt people was the same INEC that listened to me and gave me all the necessary support, all the encouragement I need to go and prosecute this petition. INEC did not turn their back to me. Those people who are corrupt, they wanted to blank me out, shield me from every information. But I shouted and I went upstairs. And they heard me, they listened to me, and they believed me. And they gave me access to every information that I believe me. I must also put it on record that INEC chairman tried for me. He went beyond the call of duty to make sure that the right thing was done in this case. And by the way, when the rigging happened, there were two local governments. There were two INEC officials. One accepted bribe and rigged the election. The other one refused to accept bribe. These are the champions of democracy. They are still in the system.
So you have the good and you have the ugly.
Yeah, but by the time we continue to strive to make this point, like we have done now, we have demonstrated now, then the critical mass will be built of those good people. They will not be lonely again. Then they will know that doing that good, like I've tried to reach the other person who did the right thing. I said, do you know it is because of you that I'm coming back to my office? God has used you, I used a few other people, I used many other people to make sure that this thing we celebrate today is happening. So there are good people there, but they need to be told that, oh, thank you. If like I just walked away and forgot the man who did this, it's not good on my part. But I've reached him. I said, God bless you. And God will bring you helpers in your own time of need. I told him that. I've written it in a note to him to encourage him because I can't pay him. There's nothing I can give him that will be up to the bribe they were ready to deliver to him.
Okay, we're almost rounding off. But I'd like to ask, where do you get the strength and the perseverance and the long suffering to stay this course? What is the magic? Some people would have given up.
I agree with you. But if you have the kind of organic support I have from my people, if you fail, it is not good. Honestly. I wasn't a politician before. Sometime a short while ago, when you called me a politician, I used to tell you to mind your language. But now I'm a politician. And now you see people liking it. Politicians are not popular these days. We are disgruntled. We are hated by the people. But my own people like me. How can I betray that kind of trust? Now, number two, is that I think also that there is something about God in these things. God chooses somebody and he gives you the grace to do what he puts in your hands to do. I used to tell my people from my constituency, I said, my own father, it cost him his life working for my people. Mine has not cost me my life. My father died for our people. It's not figuratively, it is practical. He died during the war, representing my people. So for me, and they say I resemble him, maybe not only in face, but maybe in character. But I have found that grace there. And I'm using the grace, and I've not used it up. It's always there. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Dennis Agbo, for coming on our show. Well, it's on record, so in another couple of months, you have to come back and tell us in real figures and numbers.
It will be my pleasure.
How you have been able to achieve
it will indeed be my pleasure.
What you have set out. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
On the Signature Morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Don't go away. It's Signature Television 247.